And in 1926, there was an officer who was the town watchman in Rapid City who his name was...
Hold on. What's a town watchman?
A town watchman is both like somebody who will raise an alarm if they see something going wrong. That is, they were like a Brinks alarm system, but before that was invented.
Okay.
Yeah. And so his name was John Leary. John Leary was born in New York, but he came out here to find gold.
That's like a guy from Shark Tank, isn't it?
Yeah.
John Leary.
John Leary.
It is that guy.
Yeah.
From Shark Tank.
So he was born in like 1933 or something like that, and came out here to find gold and earned the name Hooky Jack. That's what he's known by because his
doing this lot.
Yeah. Fish hook. He was a wrestler.
Guys, me Hooky Jack.
He lost both of his hands and one of his eyes in a mining explosion. And so his hands were replaced by hooks.
Sure.
So he became Hooky Jack, which is, of course, like if somebody has a disability, you should exclusively refer to them by their
Bill.
Wheelchair Susan. Exactly.
So what did he
Rolly
stuttering Stan?
So after he had the hooks, like what did he do to like alert? Like did he just ring a bell with his
well,
hook?
you could just bang them together, right?
he just had a glass stuck to like a drinking glass stuck to him, and it was like a wedding toast, just ting 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 ting.
Never would have to kiss.
You'd have to go kiss the criminal, and so he did this for a long time. He actually was in his 70s, which. If you're in your 70s and it was 1920.
Do we know when his arms were blown off?
Oh, let me look. Actually, that's a good question.
Because if he was 69 and then his hands blew off and then lived to be 70, I'd be like, well, yeah.
Do we know what kind of steel was used? I just got really into knives lately, so
it's probably brass hooks.
Oh, let's see.
But if he was 8 years old and then they blew off his hand, he came out here for
how often would they have to upsize?
He'd have to grow his toddler hooks. It's J.C. Penney has to have that little your kids grow out of their pants. We'll replace them for free.
They brass coated his freaking hooks for when he was a toddler.
He just kept layering it on.
Yep, just more and more and more.
Or his hooks would molt.
So it looks like it was 1906 when he lost his hands.
Okay, so he was 40.
Yeah, he was a little older there.
So you should stay out of mine explosions, guys.
Yeah, for sure. Wait, no, I'm sorry. That's when he was quoted as talking about it. It was 1882. So he was born in what?
So he was in his mid-20s? Is that right?
He was born with the hook hands.
He was born into it.
So he's born in 49, right?
Uh-huh.
And he lost his hands in 82. So he's 33.
Okay,
right?
so
he's our age.
He had
right?
been with a woman by that time.
He was married. Yeah, he'd been married for 2 years.
He didn't have to use the hooks.
Could you imagine what the underwear situation was back then? Trying to undo that with hooks?
He would be teased all the time because he couldn't get the bra off.
Yeah,
he couldn't twist the bra. What a loser!
You're an idiot, dude.
Yeah. So he was apparently also accused at one point of pickpocketing prisoners after he'd lost his hands. So I don't know how you're pickpocketing something with hooks for hands.
You just cut the pocket open, whatever fell out. So
apparently.
Well, yeah, but they'd have to, everything had to be the big ring of keys. That's all he could steal from prisoners is big rings of keys.
So he became a night watchman because he couldn't be a miner anymore, obviously.
Well, he was too old.
Yeah, he's too old. Yep, definitely.
It's age humor.
And so he was appointed as a night watchman and served there for a long time until he was accused of pickpocketing and lost the job. And then 4 years later got it back because they didn't know what else to do with him. He was never convicted of a crime, so they just brought him back. Police officers, keeping
4
jobs.
years. What did he do for the 4 years?
It's a good question. I don't know. He disappeared.
Piano?
It said he disappeared.
He disappeared.
There are no newspaper articles or anything else dictating what happened to the man with hooks for hands.
Hooky went on a vision
in
quest.
fact, no articles have been found describing whether or not he was ever convicted of any crime. And then in 93, he was brought back for $20 a month is what he was getting paid to be a night watchman. And he worked at that job for actually quite a while here, up until 1926.
Do you think the person who accused him of stealing felt bad? like I would accuse Hooky of stealing just as a joke. Just like,
oh yeah, he reached in and pulled my wallet out of my pants. Oh really? Yeah, definitely.
Next thing you know, Hooky's not around him. Like, what happened to Hooky? He's like, he was stealing things, and I was like,
oh no.
Do you think like he was like, yeah, I'm just gonna tell them this, and then if they ask, they're gonna make him feel bad because they're gonna be like, like he's gonna be like, why you don't think I could steal something?
I could steal plenty of stuff. But I'm not stealing hooks.
It's double jeopardy. You can't convict me again for the same crime.
What's it called? When they're kind of like ageism, but they apply it to like
hookism.
Hookism. Yeah, that's the word I was thinking.
So also apparently, his wife didn't handle like the hooks very well, because she and their 3 children all ended up in the Yankton Asylum.
They all ended up in the
asylum. Then the
children went to the
apparently. It's he lost 3 children and his wife. Oh, he lost 3 children. Wow. Maybe they died. Holy cow! I didn't catch that.
When you like toss them in the air and it's hard to catch them back down with the hooks.
Daddy's got you.
Oh no!
Oh no! But so she went to the asylum and yanked him and lived there the rest of her life, outliving him. By the way,
I think they just sent every woman to.
Yeah, women just went to. As far as I understand it,
yeah,
women just went to asylums for like whatever.
Yeah,
like men would just get upset with him and be like,
"She's hysteric. You need to take her away. She's on her period. Obviously, she's insane."
Yeah. She says she doesn't like when I fondle her breasts anymore. Click, click, clack, clack. Send her to the brig.
So he had one companion, a dog that was with him for 15 years.
Did the dog go to the asylum?
No, the dog got hit by a car in 1919, which there was probably just one car in Rapid City. The only car in Rapid City. It hit the dog in 1919. And then 7 years after the dog died, his only friend in the whole world, he got hit by a car as well and killed in 1926.
Well, it's a tribute at that point.
Absolutely. And so he was, 77 years old?
You're looking at me like I know.
Well, born in 49, died in 26, 60. He would have been 77? I believe 77 when he was hit and killed by a car. Again, 1926, there was probably only the one. It was probably the same car.
Yeah.
Right? Definitely
Same
the same car.
It was on its way back out of town. It just got to town. That's where the gas station was. They're like, oh, we got to build it. Also, they built the gas station, got the gas.
He hit the dog coming in. On the way out, he hit the other guy.
Well, it'd be really hard, like, because that was probably the first time Hooky had ever seen a car. So he was probably like trying to squint, like trying to block the sun out of his eyes, but he couldn't.
So, he's the night watchman, so he would have been out in the evening. But,
well, that's even worse because then his eyes wouldn't be adjusted.
He probably just tried to wave the guy down and like, "Hey, can I get a ride over? It's cold." And they thought it was a threat because he was holding up a hook at them. They just mowed him down.
He's like, "Hey, there's 2 lanterns coming at me really slow." I don't know.
What's that loud? Is there a train around or something?
Do we know Hooky's dog's name?
Rags. Rags, because he resembled a pile of like scrapped fabric. It's
really hard to know if people from the early like 20th century are just pieces of shit, or if that's just the way things were. Like
Rags, Hooky Jack,
Rags and Hook.
Yeah, it's like if you call a dog Rags today, people will be like, "Do you beat that dog?"
It actually says the wife's name was Old Maid too. Like it's just cruel all around.
Is that true? No, her name was Crone.
Oh my!
Like he was probably trying to make sure Rags didn't get hit.
Yeah,
but he lost control of the leash because it was one of those ones where you have to press the button.
A retractable one.
Yeah,
so he just ran out of the traffic. You couldn't pull him back. So apparently his job, which is very funny to me, was to just walk around and make sure all the doors were locked and stuff and raise the alarm if something was wrong. And apparently This is recorded by the Rapid City Journal, who was, around then too. Said, "It's lonely tonight in the Journal office, for the familiar sound of Hooky Jack trying the door has not been heard and will never be heard again." So, like, he would walk around and try to open doors with his hooks. Like,
if they were like the circle knobs, he wouldn't be able to. He would have been just sitting there cursing like God.
He just drops down to his knees and puts his mouth on it. That's why he lived to be so old, because he had a great immune system.
The journalists are just sitting there going like, "Oh, Hooky Jack, just some guy cursing at that office. He's trying to bunch of clinking." While his dog Rags is sitting there.
All right, supposedly, there's a building right now, 321 7th Street. Let's see what that is today.
That's where I used to live.
Yeah. Really?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so. 321 7th Street is... that's that old bar. Gosh, it's the one with the American flag on the side of it.
What the hell is that one called? Butt Uglies.
Butt Uglies?
Butt Uglies.
This one right now. I think there's church offices in it now.
I never went to that bar.
So that bar closed like around when we were about 21, 22.
Yeah.
So I did go in there a few times, and I watched my friend roll down the stairs in there.
This is the side of it there with the American flag. Yeah.
That's right across from where my gay haircut gets done.
Yeah.
So supposedly he used to live there, like on the 3rd floor, it said. And apparently it's haunted now because that's where his spirit resides.
I think his
where did that source come from?
Street.
South Dakota Public Broadcasting, actually. They claim it's haunted.
Freaking liberals. Always trying to tell me that bar I've never been to is haunted.
The employees of different bars that inhabited the building over the years refused to go up to the 3rd floor during the day because that's when Hooky was hanging out. At night, he'd go out so they could go up there during the night.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
Mm.
Wait, so he traveled like all over town.
Right, like he'd walk around like the downtown area, yeah, and check to make sure doors are locked.
If he like ran down to the Loaf and Jug for like Twizzlers real quick, and you're like, I'm not gonna get my keys, I'm just gonna leave it unlocked.
He'd get stabbed there.
Well, Hooky Jack would stop you.
Maybe he had one hook and then a key on the other one. It's just like a skeleton key.
He should have like a clamp attachment. I think that's.
You get one of those grabber things.
He just operates it like with a string with his teeth, just grabs it and pulls it and it closes.
That's really cool.
That's it right there. We just solved it. All right, let's time travel back and get Hooky Jack's attachment. Yeah. Save Hooky Jack. Save Rapid City.
You know, if Sheldon or I time traveled to try to save Hooky Jack, he would
kill us.
He would just hook the crap out of us.
He'd send us to the asylum.
All right, so the article ends here. Hooky Jack is a man of Rapid City lore. Good or bad, he's a permanent piece of what Rapid City was.
Good or bad?
Good or bad. What Rapid City was, what it is, and what it continues to be.
I really don't feel like anything bad Hooky Jack did. Like anything.
It sounds like just bad stuff happened to this guy, right? Like he didn't like hopefully kill his children. Like
his wife went to the asylum, but again,
yeah.
All women went to asylums.
Right, yeah. And like he walked around and made sure offices were closed. He might have pickpocketed a dude, but who doesn't do that?
I'm still trying to imagine, how do you pickpocket with some hooks, dude?
Like the only thing I can think is like a bifold wallet that he was able to fish in and hook the bifold and pull it out. Like,
well, then I guess looking back, they wear those like really long trench coats and they're really thick. So I'm pretty sure you wouldn't feel a friggin' hook going in your friggin' pocket.
There is a photo of him, by the way, and we can put this in the show notes. Yeah.
Well, it's gonna appear on the screen.
Oh yeah,
of the video podcast.
There we go. Yes.
It looks like
He looks fine.
Yeah.
like that bad of a guy.
They should have.
Oh, look at the hat, though.
Oh, the hat.
Makes him look Russian.
I don't like it. I don't trust him anymore.
They should have a detailed picture of his hook. It was,
Right. I do wonder what happened to the hooks, though. Like, do you get buried with your hooks? Do they get reused by people? Do they go to, like,
I don't know if they have hook transplants back then.
Hook transplants.
So